things will never be the same. Because the hierarchy of power
and Marvel Rivals
is about to change.
Deadpool was recently announced at the Game Awards to join Marvel Rivals in Season 6.
That's right. Me and Keith, we have two separate ideas for what he could possibly be. And I'm going to go with him being a new role called the Paladin role. Something that can heal, tank, and do damage.
Type shit. That honestly, that sounds cool as shit. However, the way that, I was thinking a little outside the box now. What if, because he's such a weird, like, fourth wall breaking character, what if he's allowed to be played in any role? There'll be like 3 separate Deadpools, and you get to choose which one, and each one plays drastically different from the other. But there also obviously will be some kind of common link because it's the same character at the end of the day.
Which is inspired basically by the fact that they were teasing us within the character select screen. Every week or so, they would change his role, him being all 3 roles at some point in the last few weeks. So we definitely came on an idea to kind of spitball and just, feed off each other and throw some ideas out and see what you guys think in the comments below about what Deadpool could be bringing to Marvel Rivals pretty soon.
Yeah, and the fact that I believe now it's just like a question mark, that really could go either way, saying which role is he really going to be, or the question mark could just be like a little placeholder for, like you said, a whole new role. But I will say, like a person like Loki, right? Or even Invisible Woman, they kind of would fit into that type of paladin type of categories to do. If they do at some point introduce a new role, you think they're going to kind of switch characters around?
That would be interesting, but I feel like they would have to change more about the characters to fully fit that.
Right.
Because the way I always thought about it, that the character would have like more than the 250 or 275 the healers normally have, so that they can stay in the fight a little bit longer. Whereas if you're like, Sue can heal, Sue can shield, and she can do some damage, but like she cannot be in a fight long. Like if you see a Sue in the middle of a team fight, you can clap her easily if she's not paying attention. So someone that can actually have more sustain to be in team fights like that, rather than having to be in the back line during such.
Right. I think the one thing I loved about getting into Rivals was like the creativity behind how each character can play, and it's funny. It's like outside looking in, just looking at Deadpool and knowing the type of character he is, he easily can fit in a Vanguard or a DPS role. More DPS than Vanguard, I'd say, but you can kind of make up something for it. It fit given his healing factor and all that. You would have to get a lot more creative to think of a strategist role for him. So and I don't know, hey, this is for the people, if you know, you know. Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, he was a boss in there, and there were, I think, if I'm not mistaken, there were like 3 separate phases. In each phase, he would change how he would attack. I hope I'm not like confusing that with another game, but it would drastically change the weapon he would use, how he would attack you, and things like that. So, and then like I said, with the whole fourth wall breaking thing, it'd be cool if you could kind of choose. But I did have this is a way crazy idea. Now, just hear me out. Follow me here. Hold my hand now. You take Deadpool and you put him in, let's say, DPS, right? However, he has an ability that'll allow him on the fly to switch to another role. So, for instance, he'll be his regular body, and then his body may change a little bit to kind of, bring out that Vanguard in him, or, something in him may change to bring out the more strategist role. And that obviously is like the most OP thing they can add in Rivals. So the balancing thing I thought about was just a really, really long cooldown. Bree said like Doctor Strange's Portal, which is about, I think, 3 minutes. I think that's pretty long, pretty good time to have that on it.
Yeah, because it's just such and to be honest, it might even need to be longer because it's such a crazy pool that like it can really change the tide in a team fight, especially if it's something that can be done like much quicker then Strange's portals would be done because that takes a little time to set up and everything as well.
Right.
And it's really good if you can really like do it in certain ways. But this thing is like at any point you could just have an extra DPS, an extra Vanguard, an extra strategist. It's such a crazy thing.
The fact that they're like the way they've been promoting this, because let's be honest, they did not have to spend the big bucks to get a trailer at the Game Awards, makes me like really excited as to what he's gonna bring to Marvel Rivals. And at the time of recording, we should be finding out something this week about what he's gonna do. And I just wonder like how they're gonna announce the role itself. And they also technically announced Elsa Bloodstone, so I don't know if they're gonna keep going the same like promotional route they've been going, where they'll wait towards the end of like towards the half of the season is over to announce the next character, or they're kind of gonna I don't know, change up the strategy to kind of show both in the beginning. But I just know that I'm very excited, and he was one of the characters I feel like got leaked very, very early on, and there was always talk about what he was going to be and stuff like that. So the fact that we're still debating after all this time, and we're probably not going to know till probably, wouldn't it be crazy if we found out the day he comes out, that's when we find out what fucking role he does?
That would definitely be some Deadpool stuff to really make us wait that long, have us guessing and theorizing, and not wait until the very day. It would even be crazier for him to be late by a day. Insane.
Yeah,
just a random and delay. Say he's running late. That would be funny. So I mean, yeah, I definitely think that it's so many ways we could go about that route with him and switching the roles. That would just be super OP. But and I definitely think that either way, I want one of these things to be the case. If they want to go a more fun route than going just the traditional route of just, guess what, he's a DPS, that's kind of predictable, at this point. But for me, I said it would be interesting if he introduced a whole new role, being the Paladin role, being a class that can, like I said, sustain in the middle of fights, offer some type of healing, I guess, and shielding. Specifically, I would say healing. Maybe like it's Deadpool, so he's crazy. So he could possibly have like some morphine syringes he could throw at his friends, because like Sue's shields, do they really heal? Like like stuff like that. Luna's snow, does it really heal? Like it could be anything. A morphine shot makes sense.
Black Widow headshots, do they really heal?
Come on now, like what are we talking about here? So it's Marvel Rivals. It's a game at the end of the day, so it could really be anything. He could do that, and I think he would have somewhere around like 350 health, kind of like Wolverine does have, because Wolverine's pretty tanky, and Mr. Fantastic, he's got like the most health of the Vanguards. I'm not Vanguards, of the Duelists, and so I think something around that, the realm of those two, he needs to have something like that if he's gonna be a Paladin. And and then also having for him to have his own sustain would be like to have his healing factor. Wolverine should have had it, and he's got it in some different way, but he would actually have a normal like passive healing factor at maybe after like 40% health, 30% health, it starts to heal it by itself. So I think that definitely would be dope to have, and something new to bring to Rivals, because there's so many different characters that possibly could fit that, and it would just be a way to shake up things, especially with people being so like, oh, we need 222, so that now this will really shake things up. Like, do we go with one actual dedicated strategist, or are we gonna go with like two paladins, or and such and such? So I think it's definitely a lot of potential to shake up the comps and introduce some new flavor to Rivals in the second year.
Yeah, I agree. And if people have been paying attention to like the social medias of NetEase, they kind of been like hyping, saying like, let's make this year better than the last and stuff. And for the most part, they've been going crazy with the amount of content we've got, from a whole bunch of new characters, costumes, to new modes. So it's almost like at some point, it just feels like it's destined to have a new role. And like you said, and that type of role honestly would make sense. I don't know what else, if a new role were to come, I don't know how else they could make that role so much different from the others. So making it kind of a jack of all trades type of thing makes a lot of sense. And like you said, a lot of characters could fit into that. Even some, I argue, that are already in the cast, in the roster, in the roster, can fit that role definitely. And like NetEase is just
you need that good damage, that good sustainability, and then some minimal healing.
Yeah. And,
something, minimal healing or buffs of some sort,
Yeah, the balancing fucking it's gonna be a nightmare for them, especially that if it's a new role and then how that role can affect team comps and
might be a whole lot more solo vanguards out here. That's one thing that'll probably happen.
Yeah, but to play devil's advocate, adding a new role that kind of just how many seasons will a person go before they get a vanguard again once they had to go through the cycle, or because they're already working on stuff a year in advance. I believe I think they're working on characters for 2027. It's like that catch up, and not to mention they're allowed to create their own original characters. So all
I
this
say to
is
that,
good.
who's to say they haven't already been planning for that though?
I argue that their priority got at least one done, and I even say by year, like the second year anniversary, he'll be there. If not there for like the second year anniversary or something, he or she, whatever.
Yeah, because it'd be foolish if they were to introduce a new role, and then if they already got stuff planned till 2027, I'm like, well, y'all should at least have more. One, we've been asking for more strategists, more vanguards. And if y'all introducing a whole new role, you definitely need to add some more of that too. We already got hella DPS, so I'm like, we really need to flesh the roster out and even it out across the board. Introducing a new role would be interesting, but yeah, like you said, to play devil's advocate, it could cause a lot of waiting for the other roles to really start to get fleshed out over the time, because we only get 2 per month, which is a great speed, in comparison to the competitors.
One every few months is crazy. So I applaud them. I applaud them for certain. It's just I hope they're not getting too big for their britches and can handle it all. Especially with however Deadpool is going to change things and whatever they decide to do for the rest of the year. I'm very excited. They're definitely making it seem like they at they top at they prime and shit. So hey man, I've been wanting Deadpool too. So man, that's my guy for real.
Yeah, totally, definitely. So, I mean, that's pretty much all I have for the Paladin class. I think it definitely could open up some new things and, really shake up, like I said, some new comps and rivals and offer new play styles for people to get more. And honestly, that possibly could just introduce more people to the player base, to be honest. But, there's just so many benefits and so many possible, detriments. Who knows?
Even doing something like I said with the 3 separate Deadpools, essentially that's like creating almost 3 separate characters, given similar, very, very similar designs and stuff like that. I'd imagine they'd look different in some way, shape, or form to fit that role. Like, I don't know, can you imagine like, and this honestly might have been something I seen in a comic or something like that, like Deadpool with like his beat meat arm is like the size of like Hulk or something, or it's like green like Hulk and it's like really, really huge and shit like that, and that'll him be a vanguard versus the design we already seen in the trailer for his duelist, and then him wearing like some type of like, I don't know, sexy nurse type outfit.
Okay.
For strategist.
Hey,
not like sexy in the sense that like, damn, that's sexy, but like,
but a nurse
him
outfit.
Yeah.
That's him though. That's definitely him. I like your idea better.
X-Force, that just need to be a costume off rip, you know what I'm saying? Like hands down. Like him
right,
and
right
Wolverine need that. I don't understand why he doesn't have that.
Yeah, these are pretty much our thoughts. Let us know what you guys think in the comments about Deadpool and his arrival to Marvel Rivals, and what he will bring to the table for us, what he shall bring new, or is it just going to be another DPS?
I'm Keese.
And I'm Breeze.
And the struggle arc continues.
Be breezy.